My parents groomed my younger sister into being a wife of a man 10 years older than her, and I regret not saying anything. I just need to get this off my chest so that I can move on and it's not just in my head anymore. I have a younger sister named Bethany who has been with Paul since she was 18. I have always felt like their relationship was set up by Paul and my parents. Paul is the son of the company owner that my dad works for. 2 weeks after she turned 18, Paul had dinner at my parents' house where Bethany met him, and within a month they were together. Conveniently, right as they started dating, my dad was handed a CFO position at the company and now works right next to Paul, who is the CEO. My dad was in corporate, but not in the position to get a job like that. On top of that, my parents instilled in Bethany since she was a freshman in high school that she would be a perfect housewife. They never forced her to do schoolwork, and she got through school on C's when I would get in trouble for any less than a B. Bethany wanted to be a doctor and was smart enough for it, but they kept reinforcing that she was a perfect housewife. They ended up moving her to cyber school, and she spent basically every day doing basic chores and going shopping with my mom. When she did start dating Paul, she was basically relieved of any work from my parents or Paul. Paul lived in a big city 2 hours away, and they would pay for her to go see him every other week. If she mentioned breaking up, they would go on about it's a stupid decision and kept telling her that Paul would give her everything. They got married after 14 months of being together, and right after, my dad was given a huge 6-figure bonus. Just to mention, when I got married to my ex-husband, my dad thought it was too soon, even though I was with him for over 2 years. Since they've been married, I constantly see things in their relationship that I have vivid memories of my parents telling her was important or pushing her in the direction of it. For example, my mom would constantly tell Bethany that if she was pretty, good things would happen to her. Paul doesn't make Bethany work or do anything besides cooking, and he tells her that she can continue this as long as she stays hot for him. They always told her that she looked great in red hair and told her she looked bad in every other color, and then it turns out that Paul mainly likes redheads. Same thing with tattoos. They started letting her get tattoos at 17 and gave her an unlimited budget to get them. She has both of her arms fully covered, her chest and stomach done, and a bunch on her legs. Turned out that Paul has a thing for tattooed girls. Paul treats her right, but definitely keeps her sheltered from the real world. For example, she doesn't even know what's happening in Palestine and Israel because Paul won't tell her, and she's not on social media. He definitely has groomed her to be the wife that he wants. Bethany doesn't really have any opinions of her own, and she looks at Paul for everything. She doesn't have many thoughts except clothes she wants, trips she's going on, her friends, and weed. Anything else is what Paul tells her. If I brought up the fact that she was raised to be like this, she will just go to Paul and believe whatever he says about it. Bethany definitely loves Paul, probably more than most people love their spouses, and he's not abusive towards her. But I just feel bad whenever I think about it. Bethany was never able to make her own choices or pick her life. My parents have been friends with Paul since he took the role of CEO when Bethany was only 13. I met him once, and then a few months later, they started treating Bethany totally differently and acted like she was only good as a wife, which I don't think was a coincidence. I feel like her life was robbed for the sake of my dad, his career, and his bank account. She went from being told what to do by my parents to being told what to do by Paul. She has never been able to form her own opinion or understand who she actually is. She will forever be what Paul wants her to be, and she was groomed into it by parents. I feel like I should have said something. I feel like if I pushed her more on school or following her own dreams instead of my parents', she would be in a different spot. She would be happier and not suppressed of what Paul wanted. I know that she wasn't forced into the relationship, and she has even said that she made the first move when talking to him. It's like she doesn't even understand what happened to her, and I could have changed that. I feel so guilty that she's living a life she was forced into, even if she doesn't realize it. Follow or subscribe.